All right, so you're here to get smart, fast, right. Well, we're doing a deep dive today into something, a space story that kind of went really off script.
Yeah.
So these NASA astronauts, Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, and their unexpectedly long stay in space,
Oh.
their dramatic return to Earth.
Yeah, this is going to be fascinating. We've got these two sources, transcripts from CNN News 18 and NDTV India.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're both covering this extraordinary 9-month journey. And get this, it was only supposed to last like a little over a week. So our goal today is to unpack what happened, what were the challenges, and what this whole experience tells us about space travel, like the reality of it all.
Okay, well, let's just jump right in.
Yeah.
So 8 days.
8 days.
That was the plan.
That was the plan.
Williams and Wilmore, they launched in June 2024
Right.
on Boeing's Starliner.
Yep.
They were headed for a short stay at the International Space Station. That's not what happened, though.
That's not how it played out.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
It was supposed to be this brief mission, but it turned into this really prolonged ordeal. CNN News 18 called it a nightmare in orbit.
Oh, wow.
And for good reason. Okay, so the Starliner, it experienced multiple failures in its propulsion system.
Really?
Yeah. And these weren't like, minor glitches.
Ah.
These severely hampered the spacecraft's ability to maneuver and return safely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It just shows you, even with experienced companies like Boeing,
Yeah?
that developing spacecraft is inherently risky and complex.
Yeah.
And there's a huge need for rigorous testing and redundancy in mission planning.
Yeah, a nightmare in orbit. That's pretty scary. Imagine being up there,
Hmm.
orbiting the Earth. CNN News 18 even called it the emptiness of space,
Right.
with your ride home not working. And not just for a few extra days.
Right.
We're talking almost 9 months.
Yeah.
That's a big difference from 8 days.
Huge difference.
So NDTV India said it was 286 days.
Right.
CNN News 18 said it was almost 300. Wow. So with those propulsion problems, NASA had to make a really big decision right there.
Oh, yeah, they did. Because of the Starliner's problems, NASA decided to bring Williams and Wilmore back using SpaceX's Crew Dragon spacecraft.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they did this through one of SpaceX's regular crew rotation missions, the ones they do regularly,
Uh-huh.
to take astronauts to and from the ISS and make sure there were always humans up there.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing they had that option.
That is so interesting. I mean, it really shows how important it is to have, different ways to get to and from space.
Multiple reliable transportation options.
Exactly.
It's essential.
Absolutely. Okay, so after all that uncertainty, after all that waiting,
Right.
the return journey finally started on March 18th, 2025.
Yep.
Undocked from the ISS with 2 other crew members.
Right.
17 hours they were back on Earth.
Back on solid ground.
That re-entry, though,
Oh, yeah.
that must have been intense.
Intense is putting it mildly. CNN News 18 had this really vivid description. The SpaceX Crew Dragon during re-entry was encased in a glowing fireball. Temperatures hit almost 2,000 degrees Celsius.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so that incredible heat comes from friction as the capsule enters Earth's atmosphere, at these incredible speeds. And
Right.
the heat shield is designed with these special materials that burn away in a controlled way, taking the heat with them and protecting the capsule inside. CNN News 18 had a good point. They said even a single glitch during this phase could have been catastrophic.
Oh, yeah.
The precision needed is just immense.
It's hard to even imagine that level of
Yeah.
heat. And everything has to work perfectly.
It does, but thankfully it did. The Crew Dragon did its job.
Yeah.
And they got through it.
They made it back.
They splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico, off the coast of Florida.
And I heard there was a really surprising welcome.
Yeah, this is an awesome detail that both sources mentioned.
Oh, wow.
So as the capsule splashed down,
Huh.
a pod of dolphins appeared,
Really?
and they started swimming around it. As the rescue teams got closer, CNN News 18 called it a moment of beauty amidst the chaos. Just this spontaneous encounter with nature, welcoming them back. It's a pretty powerful image after such a long and tough trip.
It really is. It's heartwarming.
It is.
And unexpected.
Totally.
But almost 300 days in microgravity.
All right.
I mean, that must have taken a toll. They weren't exactly jumping out of that capsule.
No, not at all. After being in microgravity for so long, it's that near weightlessness of space. Their bodies had really changed.
Yeah.
CNN News 18 reported that Williams and Wilmore were too frail to even stand on their own. They had to be taken out of the capsule on stretchers.
Wow.
Both news outlets said they looked pale and exhausted.
Well, yeah.
Which is totally expected after spending that much time in space.
Yeah.
But they were smiling,
Oh, good.
which shows they were relieved and happy to be home.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you think about the not-so-glamorous side of long-duration spaceflight.
Right.
NDTV India gives some interesting insights
They did.
into what daily life is like up there, especially something we all do many times a day without even thinking: eating.
Right.
What's it like to eat in zero gravity?
Well, as NDTV India explained, fresh food isn't really an option, like we
Yeah.
have here. Astronauts have to rely on these special processed meals.
Yeah.
They're freeze-dried and packaged, and you have to rehydrate them before you can eat them,
Okay.
like fancy camping food.
Oh, interesting.
And everything has to be really carefully contained, otherwise it would just float away.
Yeah, of course. But Sunita Williams, she got to enjoy some tastes of home.
Right.
Right.
She did.
NDTV India said she had Indian dishes like chapati dal vegetables
Yeah.
and even halwa.
It's true.
That must have been comforting.
Oh, absolutely. Familiar flavors are a big morale boost during long missions.
Yeah.
They mention other foods too, like yogurt, granola, spicy fruit juice, Thai curry, and pasta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good.
And in previous interviews, Sunita had said that her taste changed in microgravity. Spicy foods became more appealing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a thing apparently. Because of fluid shifts in the body that affect the sinuses and taste buds.
Wow. I didn't know that. It sounds challenging too. Eating out of packets
Yeah.
with straws or special spoons.
That's right. To keep everything contained.
NDTV India also talked about water scarcity
Yes.
and how the food has to be nutritious but also lightweight.
Exactly. Every gram counts. Every drop counts when you're in space.
Yeah.
They have to maximize nutrition and minimize the burden of carrying everything.
Makes sense.
NDTV India even mentions Sunita trying to cook on the station,
Oh, really?
which just shows how much people crave normalcy,
Yeah.
even in these extreme situations. It also really highlights how limited resources are when you're so far away from Earth.
Yeah, absolutely. So the astronauts are back, safe and sound, thanks to human resilience and technology.
That's right.
But the story didn't end there. Back on Earth, there was some political discussion.
That's right.
CNN News 18 covered some of that.
They did. This situation raises an important question about how space exploration and politics are mixing more and more these days.
Right.
So CNN News 18 reported that former President Trump said he stepped in personally.
Really?
Yeah, to make sure the astronauts came back. Even said that Biden's administration had abandoned them.
Oh, wow. And what did Elon Musk say? I heard he had something to say about it.
CNN News 18 reported on that too. Musk said he had offered to help, but he disagreed with how Trump presented things. He said his first offer to help was actually turned down. So you have these different accounts and potential political maneuvering around this high-profile event.
Oh, wow. And what did NASA say about all this?
So according to CNN News 18, NASA strongly denied that politics had anything to do with the delays or the decisions made. They emphasized that the mission was extended purely because of safety concerns with the Starliner.
Okay.
And they reminded everyone that they work for the current administration regardless of party.
Yeah.
They said their top priority is always the safety and success of their missions.
Of course. It just goes to show how much scrutiny these missions get from all sides.
Yeah, it does. But beyond the technical stuff and the political stuff, this is really a human story about perseverance.
Right.
CNN News 18 said it well. They called this whole ordeal a battle against time technology and the very limits of human endurance.
Yeah.
These astronauts faced months of uncertainty and potential danger far from home.
9 months. It must have taken so much mental strength.
It really speaks to Williams and Wilmore's courage, resilience, and determination, not just to endure, but to come back safe.
And when they returned, CNN News 18 reported that there was global celebration.
It was a huge relief. From NASA's mission control to their families and people all over the world, there was so much joy.
Especially for Sunita Williams' family.
Yeah.
They must have gone through so much.
They did.
CNN News 18 talked about their emotional reunion.
Yeah.
And how they never gave up hope. That's amazing. So to sum it all up,
Yeah.
we had this seemingly normal space mission that went haywire because of technical problems. They ended up staying in orbit much longer than planned, had to switch spacecraft for their return, had a fiery re-entry, saw some
An
dolphins.
amazing welcome.
Yeah. And then the crew came home weak but safe.
Yeah.
We also learned about the challenges of living and eating in space.
Definitely.
And of course, there was the political debate back here on Earth.
Absolutely. It was a really extraordinary journey, showing us both the amazing things we can achieve in space and the risks that come with it.